We will do it. So we are here at CES, and now we're in a two-shot. That's wonderful. The camera's smarter than we are in terms of talking, so hopefully it'll give you the right shot all the time. I'm here with Doug Mohney, who's now showing off a logo on his shirt. What's that logo from?
Fiber Broadband Association. I'm editor-in-chief of the Fiber Forward magazine for the Fiber Broadband Association.
That's terrific.
So we're about all things broadband.
So do you remember what number CES is this of yours?
I have lost count. I think I went to my first one probably sometime around the turn of the century, young man. So it's probably been a couple decades for the CES.
No, I know I know I'm over 20. I think I'm under 30, but I'm not sure. I might be over 30 as well. It's how much more coloring I have to put on my beard every year to know how much longer I've been here. What's been your best CES experience ever?
I would have to, last year was pretty good. And I know that's a radical thought, but last year was pretty good because there was nobody around, so it was easy to get from point A to point B. That was a good experience. I think my other good experience was for the first couple that I went to where the show was, was comfortable, me and 100,000 other friends. It hadn't gotten to the mega 180K type of situations where you had to wait an hour and a half for cab lines. So.
And you never rent? You always take cabs?
Back in the old days, I rented a car once in a while, but then it was just, it's just too much hassle. So it's like, now, thank goodness for Uber and Lyft. They've changed the scene a lot rather than having to wait for cab lines. Now you have to wait in Uber line. But there's a lot more expectations and data rather than just like having to work the cab line. Like I think you were, it was Jim Harris talking about working the cab line and trying to find a couple buddies to hop up forward.
I know you guys want to hear about the technology. This is the important stuff to us. We want to know about how to manage, how to get things going here. So it is, as we record this, it is Tuesday.
Yes, it is Tuesday.
I've been in Las Vegas a little too long.
Tuesday is the first day of the show. Well, the first day for the first media days. Yes. Right. So later today there'll be the Consumer Technology Association will present their tech trends.
That's with Leslie Rohrbaugh and Steve Koenig, my friends.
Correct. And then after that, there will be CES Unveiled, where there will be a couple hundred smaller companies showing products for the first time. And some of them will be new companies. Some of them will be more established companies with their new gadgets and widgets.
And they've improved Unveiled here in Las Vegas. It was always a great show everywhere else they did it, but they have significantly improved it here in Las Vegas over the last few years. It's a larger venue. There's room for people. You can get around, and there are some nicer vendors.
Yeah, so it was, again, going back to the experience last year, they had enough room for spreading around so people could actually walk back and forth through the aisles. I remember there have been a couple of times where it's been wall-to-wall people, and that's disconnect. While I know CTA likes that because it shows there's lots of people. If you're a media or if you're somebody just trying to find out more information, you have to go wall to wall to talk to somebody that detracts from the experience, and you might bypass somebody that you might normally have talked to.
So let's talk about the themes that we may or may not be expecting this year. What are the top two or three things that you're coming to the show to see?
I think AI is probably a big one. I want to revisit health tech. There's some new spins on health tech. Last year, the blood pressure cuff was out because you would put your finger on the phone and your camera will be able to make a blood pressure measurement off the camera in your phone. Yeah, so that was last year. This year, somebody's telling me, "Oh, no, the blood pressure cuff has its own uses. You can measure arterial, pressure and rigidity with it." And it's like, oh, okay, well, it's kind of interesting. So there's this back and forth. So health tech will be very interesting to see. There's a section over at the North Hall where they're having an ER room of the future, and I'm looking forward to looking at that as well.
I've spent enough time in the ER over the last year or two, where you're lying on a cot in the hallway. So of the future, it would be nice if there was a bed for every patient.
I think that, and it's using technology to be able to evaluate people faster, and then be able to figure out if they've got something critical or something that can be treated immediately and stuff like that. And that's where technology comes in, both in terms of app layers of, you start with, newer tech, newer sensors based off consumer technology, like the cell phone, for instance. And then you layer on top of that applications, and then you go to the cloud where your medical records are going to be online, and in the near future. Well, let's compare David's set of David's vitals to the models that we have in the cloud, and see, how does David look compared to everybody else? Do we need to worry about that David's blood pressure is up a little bit more than statistically speaking, or can we let him go early? I mean, there's again, new technology, new apps in the cloud, the three of them with AI all mixed in. That'll be interesting to see as well.
I'm always here at the show for the gadgets that are little things that somebody created. I'm looking forward. I hope it's nice technology. Somebody has created something that slips into your phone that if you get a bug bite, that it can take care of using the power of the phone. And I think that's really interesting. Less chemicals, a little doodad to carry around. I like the little doodads. They make me feel comfortable.
I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I know of what you speak, and I'm looking forward to seeing if that's cool and if they're giving them out. But more seriously, yeah, I think that the thing at CES is trying to finding the things or the items or the little gadgets that you don't think about, and then all of a sudden you go, eureka! I needed that.
And there will be some technology announcements from my firm, from HP Poly, that will be interesting, and without giving those away, because I'll have people here to give them away.
Yes.
Sometime during the week. One of the trends that we are definitely following, that you're going to see other organizations follow, is this focus on sustainability and
Yes.
corporate social governance. This idea that it's not enough to just do what you do. How do you do it with diversity and inclusion? How do you do it with sustainability, with reducing power, with reducing size of packaging, and how much recyclable materials are in what you do? I think there's a lot of that we're going to see at the show this year, because it's important now.
Yeah, but I got to be honest with you. I think is the theme of sustainability is sustainable, because I've heard this song before, where pre-COVID days, people were talking about again, reducing power, reducing your footprint, recycling phones. Like, for instance, Samsung had this whole push where you could take your cell phone and recycle it into an IoT device and not have to send it back, or you could send it back to something. And then Dell's had their prototypes where they're going to offer you laptops that you can actually repair yourself, rather than having to be go in with a bunch of plastic gadgets to try to open up your laptop, and you end up breaking everything. So I'm interested to see how sustainability works. Obviously, there are some very significant advantages to sustainability, not because you're a corporate citizen, but it's good. It's better for the bottom line. Reducing packaging and making things smaller, cuts down on shipping, which cuts down on your shipping bill, which adds to more green to the bottom line. And part of sustainability is not green about the environment, but green to the bottom line.
Oh, that's both. And you're also in an era now, finally, where young people entering the workforce and old guys like us are actually looking at wanting to do business with companies that are taking that seriously. They want to be employed by companies that have a good diversity program. They want to be employed by companies that are being good for the environment. So I think it's here to stay for a while.
I'm looking forward to see what new ideas come out of that as well for sustainability.
Terrific. So any final thoughts as we start to close out this conversation about CES 2023, what you're expecting and what you're happy about or sad about?
Well, I think I'm happy, sad about the 100,000 plus people coming. Because like I said, last year was 45,000. A lot easier to get around. I'm interested to see how, if things start to friction up a little bit and it becomes more difficult to travel from point A to point B, or even walk through a crowd, for instance. So I'm interested to see how that goes this year. I'm happy because there are many more new vendors here. A lot of vendors that bagged out at the last minute last year are showing up. So I'm very excited to see what the new gadgets and gizmos are, and it'll be interesting to walk through there. The other thing I'm looking forward to, and I don't know how this is going to work in the middle of desert, but there was a big push about maritime technology out of CES, out of the CES this year. So I don't know how you show boats in the desert, but I've got an open mind. Let's see what kind of gizmos there are. I'm not a real boater there, so I've got 2 strikes against me already. But I think that's. But and I think the other thing I'll say, David, is I'm also want to see if I can stop by the Fraunhofer booth and see what their latest voice codec is, or their latest audio codec, because they were making noises there. They're going to release something new and better than what they have out already. See.
We'll know a lot more on Friday, but we'll also be exhausted. So you get that too. Will you? I'm sure you will. You'll be invited back to chat with us sometime over the next couple of weeks, and we'll compare notes as to what happened. But we won't do it in person. We'll do it with our beautiful R30 switching the cameras. We'll do it remotely over Zoom or something like that. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's good.
That was a pleasure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.